The Master's Mysteries. Tales of Magical Mastery, Episode 32. Suddenly, a large amount of rubble came crashing down, frightening Liao Fengyi and old Dao at the bottom of the cliff. "Kid, quickly, go into the crevice." The shaking of the mountain continued, with the area of shattered rocks increasing. The falling rocks kept coming. Even if they had extraordinary abilities, they couldn't escape this area. "It's out of our control now. What should we do? Hurry up." At a critical moment, old Dao remained calm. He pulled Liao Fengyi and rushed into a small crevice where he had previously hidden. However, the one-legged control wolf demon was struck directly by a massive amount of rubble and instantly turned into a pulp. A tremendous amount of rubble fell into the bottom of the cliff, causing significant tremors that dislodged numerous rocks from the mountainside. A gigantic pile of rocks formed at the bottom. The black-clad person on the cliff top, having killed one of his own useless subordinates, felt no emotion. In his view, those who were of no use should die. He believed that the three people had been buried by the rubble, and chuckled sinisterly. Then he turned around, the cape fluttering like a pair of enormous wings, and quickly disappeared into the darkness of the night. Let's talk about the bottom of the cliff. Before the rubble fell, Liao Fengyi and old Dao had taken refuge in a narrow mountain crevice. However, there were too many rocks outside, completely blocking the crevice. Just as the two of them rushed into the crevice, the falling rocks began. The intense shaking and rising dust caused them great hardship, and their ears were ringing incessantly. "No, it's completely blocked by too many rocks. We're trapped." Although the two of them managed to save their lives, the entrance of the cave was tightly sealed by a heavy barrage of falling rocks. Damn it. Not killed by the rocks, but buried alive. Don't be pessimistic. As long as we're alive, there's hope. Inside this crevice is a dead end, and the entrance is blocked by rocks. The two of them are like mud loaches trapped in a jar. It's hard to describe how uncomfortable it is. If they continue like this, death is inevitable. It's Ahu. Just when the two of them felt hopeless and at a loss, they suddenly heard Ahu's voice from behind. They turned around and saw Ahu squeezing out from a small crevice at the end of the mountain crevice. Judging by its actions, there seemed to be some space behind. Ahu says there's a massive space behind. It seems fortune is on our side. This made the two of them ecstatic. They immediately ran up to investigate and indeed found that although the end of the crevice was a dead end, it seemed to be blocked by several large rocks. So the two of them moved and carried, quickly removing some smaller rocks and revealing a large rock that was taller than a person. With a combined effort, they managed to topple the seemingly substantial boulder. It's empty behind. As the giant rock fell, a cold breeze blew, revealing a pitch-black gigantic cave. "Kid, be careful." The two of them felt suffocated in the narrow crevice. At this moment, regardless of what might be in the cave, they jumped over the boulder and entered the cave. This cave seems to be naturally formed, and its depth is unknown. Similar to before, Ahu took the lead in exploring the path, with the two following closely behind. Just as they passed through a narrow crevice that only allowed one person to squeeze through sideways, Ahu suddenly let out a squeak. "There's actually a dead person here." After the two crawled out of the crevice, they understood the reason behind Ahu's cry. In front of them was a massive naturally formed stone chamber, and there sat a person. However, they felt no signs of life in him. He should not be alive. Just as Liao Fengyi finished speaking, the person's body trembled, causing the accumulated dust to fall. Not good. It's a deceitful corpse. Seeing this, both of them became nervous. Liao Fengyi quickly positioned her sword in front of him, while old Dao took out the soul-summoning bell from his pocket. The two vigilantly watched the person, and suddenly, the person raised his head and burst into laughter. The laughter was extremely old and hoarse, as if he hadn't spoken in hundreds of years. "Master, your calculations were accurate. After a few laughs, the person actually started speaking. However, his words were enigmatic, and it was difficult to understand their meaning. At this moment, the two of them also adapted to the dimness of the stone chamber and saw that he was an extremely aged old man. "Who are you?" "Are you a demonic being from the cult of immortals?" Being deep within the territory of the cult of immortals, they couldn't afford to be careless. Both of them became more alert. "It doesn't matter who I am. What matters is who you are." As if he could see through everything, the old man didn't answer their question. Instead, he spoke in an incomprehensible manner. "Cut the act. Who recognizes a raggedy old man like you?" Old Dao couldn't bear it any longer and began to curse. But at this moment, Liao Fengyi noticed that Ahu's behavior was somewhat strange. At this moment, Ahu lowered its body and gazed earnestly at the old man. "Old sir, I am Liao Fengyi. This is Zhang Daoist. May I ask who you are?" Liao Fengyi's heart skipped a beat. He realized that the old man was no ordinary person, or else Ahu wouldn't act this way. He quickly stopped. "Old Dao, I know both of your origins. Why don't you sit down and we can talk?" As if the old man could see through everything, without needing Liao Fengyi to say much, he let them sit down. "Sit if you want. Speak. Who are you? Your presence was foreseen by my master thousands of years ago. It seems that everything is destined." Looking around, they saw that there was no other exit in the stone chamber. Since they couldn't leave for the time being, they might as well sit down and listen to what the old man had to say. "May I ask who you are, senior? What's with all this mysteriousness? Why can't you speak plainly?" After sitting down, Liao Fengyi and old Dao couldn't wait and asked the old man about his identity. "If you want to know who I am." The old man didn't answer but instead gave the two of them a careful glance as if he was confirming something. "Then let me tell you a story." Slowly, he began to tell them a peculiar story. According to legend, thousands of years ago, there lived a group of people known as the Divine Clan on this Mount Funiu. An unusual celestial phenomenon occurred. These people rarely interacted with those below the mountain. They built a massive temple in the mountains and lived there, sustained by the offerings of the people. Perhaps a demon will emerge. It is said that the last generation's leader of the Divine Clan was called Wuxu Master, who was skilled in observing celestial phenomena to predict worldly matters. Indeed, in his care, numerous people of the Divine Clan lived without any unexpected incidents for generations. The unexpected incidents referred to the forbidden area that the Divine Clan had guarded for generations. It was a cave leading into the mountain. "Don't be afraid. We killed it." The legend goes that the Divine Clan's first leader led his people to eliminate the emerging demons and sealed them in the deep cave of Mount Funiu. From then on, the Divine Clan received the people's worship and suppressed the demons. As expected, as soon as they entered the cave, the two immediately saw a red figure emerge from deep within the cave. The one that emerged was the demon of the earth, a creature from the underground. According to legend, such a creature existed in an abyssal cave beneath Mount Funiu, and in ancient times, they crawled out of the cave to harm humanity. This creature fed on human flesh and blood, with a strong demonic nature. The first-generation leader of the Divine Clan led his people to exterminate the emerging demons and confine them deep within Mount Funiu's cave. From then on, the Divine Clan received worship from the people and maintained the suppression of the demons. "Brother, be careful." As they had been fighting the demons for many years, the two of them knew that even if only a piece of the demon's body remained, it would gradually regenerate. Following ancestral traditions, they collected the remains of the demon's body piece by piece. Then, using a special ignition material passed down through generations, they ignited the remains of the demon's body. This demon was genuinely afraid of sunlight. It quickly burned into ashes, never to recover. The demon was dismembered and reduced to fragments in just a few blows. the severed limbs scattered all over the place. Is everything gathered? Don't worry, I've searched carefully. However, due to their years of fighting against the demons, the two knew that even if only a small piece of the demon remained, it would gradually regenerate. Following their ancestral teachings, they collected the remains piece by piece. Then, using a special ignition material passed down through generations, they set the fragments of the demon's body on fire. This demon is particularly afraid of sunlight. It quickly burned into charred remains and will not be able to regenerate. This kind of incident has occurred countless times throughout the centuries. The two elders, Yu Zhu and Yu Lei, did not pay much attention to it. Little did they know that despite no accidents occurring for centuries, this time they were careless, or perhaps fate intervened. The small piece of the demon's body was either deliberately or accidentally crushed into this crevice, going unnoticed by the two elders. After burning the demon's body, the two elders returned to guard the entrance of the cave and did not check it again. This allowed the small piece of the demon's body to escape. From that moment, countless calamities unfolded. Since then, a tiny crack remained in the cave. One fragment of the demon's body, whether intentionally or accidentally, fell into it, evading the two elders' notice.